To start with, um, I will be giving you what is the current Philippine duck industry. So, have you heard about the recent, what do you call this, avian influenza that occurred in Pampanga and Nueva Ecija, those two provinces, no? But then again, despite that event that happened in our industry, still, I can show to you what does our duck industry is. To give some points no, that are very important about ducks, one big advantage is that, first, duck has a very big potential because among the poultry species, it ranked as second of the top performing industries when it comes to agriculture sector. So it has a very big potential. And it also provides a very good source of income. So raising ducks is very economical, meaning you will really earn despite the case of, yes, avian flu. Second is, it's very lucrative. So far, in my almost a decade of practice as a veterinarian, I haven't seen a businessman who failed with duck raising. And might as well considered one of the Filipino delicacy is balut, no? Are you all familiar with balut? Yes. Actually, balut is not just famous in the Philippines. Most of the Asian countries like Vietnam, Thailand, also consider balut as part of their delicacy. And if you are not Asian, like those friends and yung mga kamag-anak nyo coming from the US, they might consider balut as an exotic food. But for us, this is really part of our daily routine, no? Because we are all familiar with this. And as of July 2017, no, the first half of this year, we have around 11.29 million birds. So later on, I will give kung saan ang divisions ng population na yon. Saan ba natin sila makikita? Okay? So these are the figures about the population of the duck in the Philippines. No? Basically, the duck industry is a very young industry, meaning it has more opportunities for you to venture on. Kasi unlike in poultry, no, you have there the chicken layers and the broilers. These are already well established. Unlike for ducks, this is the era wherein we can give our best to venture on this industry. So as of 2016, still, no, and 2017, 60%, more than 60% of the population is accounted on a backyard setting. Meaning, these are household that has thousands, hundreds to thousands of duck population that they rear. Okay? And around less than 40% is accounted as commercial. As of comparison from last year, July 1, 2015 to 17, no? The backyard sector has increased 2.05 for this year. And comparing to the data that was gathered from 2015 to 2016, it was only 1.49%. So we can say that this is around like 7 point something million in population. And comparing to this year, the increase is around 7.8 million. So there's an increase of 2.05% for the backyard sector. For the commercial part, we have this 6.21 for the backyard population. This was due to that time, no, that most of our flock is considered not laying. That's why they have accounted 6.21 as a total population. Comparing with the data gathered from 2016 to 2017, we got 5.52% increase. Nevertheless, the potential is still big. Next figure is about the changes in duck and duck egg production. It's because what is good about the duck industry and duck raising is that you only not raise one particular commodity. No? You have there, of course, your first priority is to produce balut. Second is fresh egg. And lastly, you have there selling fresh eggs. And these fresh eggs has two ways on how to utilize it. The one segment is being produced, no, yung fresh eggs, and be given doon sa ating mga bakeries and food products. And yung second one is also for hatching eggs. Because some raisers need to have a complete number of eggs to set before they can set all their eggs for hatching. So they also buy eggs from other raisers for them to hatch. So in 2015 to 2017 data from January to June, the first half of the year, there was a decrease 1.65% in the duck population. So ibig sabihin, they utilize, instead of culling them, no, they still utilize these birds to produce eggs because during those years and those months, the price of these eggs are very good. So ibig sabihin, even though you will just hit around 50% of the total egg production, still, if you sell your eggs, kikita at kikita ka pa din. So hindi sila masyadong nag-cull during that time. But then, last time, comparing 2016 to 2017 data, we have 4.99%. It's because this era, no, yung mga hindi na talaga mapapakinabangan na ducks last year, they utilize it as for meat purposes. For duck eggs, we have a very good, because you will see, no, the relationship between the negative figures that I have mentioned with the positive figures with regards to the egg, because they were utilized to produce eggs. So ganun po yung correlation niya kung bakit mas mataas. And comparing with 5.84% to 5.75% values. So this one, this is what I'm telling you about. We can account that 11 point something million population, a big part of it, around 5 million, no, is laying flock. And around 4.65 million is growing flock. And the duckling is around more than 1 million. So mahigit 1 million po ang ducklings natin as of July 1, 2017. Aside from this potential, we can also present to you the big changes with regards to the farm gate price of duck eggs. On the average, from January to June 2017, it has increased by 5.75% because the price last year was around 6.47 per piece of duck egg. And comparing for this year, it is around 6.84%. It's because if we have noticed kanina, the percentage is that maraming nakal. So those ducks that are producing and laying eggs decreased. So the supply of eggs also decreases. And the demand will increase, therefore, the price increases. So it goes on and on. It has the effect of the growth and, of course, the price of our eggs for this. The top regions in terms of duck inventory, the topmost region that has the most population of ducks is in Central Luzon. So Central Luzon has 7 provinces. It comprises Aurora, Bataan, Bulacan, Pampanga, Tarlac, Zambales, and Nueva Ecija. Why? It's because ducks, this region has the most flatlands, wherein this is also considered as the topmost rice-producing region in the country. So meaning, raising ducks on a backyard segment is very much lucrative on these areas. Because in these fields, no, we can have rice, yung palay, as their source of food, alternate source of food. We also have in these areas, because of this rice farming, merong water supplies yan. So there is a bounty source of small fishes, which this duck feeds on, as well as insects and snails as well. So ganun siya kaganda. And the second region that has the most population, which is around 12%, more than 12%, is Soxargen. Soxargen composes of provinces like South Cotabato, Cotabato City, Sultan Kudarat, General Santos, and Sarangani Province. So these provinces is well known to produce marine fishes and freshwater fishes. Again, we can also relate that these areas has a bountiful source of aquatic small animals that can be given to our ducks. And lastly, we have their Cagayan region, or the Cagayan Valley. Cagayan Valley is Region 2. This is located on the northern part of the Philippines, no? And it has provinces like Cagayan, Isabela, Quirino, Nueva Vizcaya, and Batanes. So this area is considered, this region actually, is considered as the second topmost producing rice in the country. So it's similar with the situation of Region 3 or the Central Luzon. No? Bountiful source of alternative feeds for our growing ducks and ducklings. I want to ask, what is the best breed, and what is the best breeding practice that you can say when it comes to duck? Is there such a very good, or let's say the most, or can I say best breed of duck that you know? Well, basically, just like in swine, no, you need to know what is your purpose. You need to know what kind of production you wanted to engage. Let's say, for example, those 4 things that I have mentioned earlier, no? If you will focus on just egg production, then you can have your best breed. At least you have a very clear idea in mind what to choose from. And if you intend to produce ducklings, then you can do so, choose what is the best breed for that. Okay? So you need to know what is your main purpose and what is the type of production you wanted to engage in. So let's start with breeds. To give you a clear view, we have what we call the 2 types of ducks. We have the egg-type ducks and the meat-type ducks. Egg-type ducks are the mallard ducks, okay, I should say. So these mallard ducks, the most commonly seen in our area is the Philippine mallard duck, or in Tagalog, itik. And yung meat-type, these are the bibe and pato in Tagalog. Okay? So you can see below that these 2 has a different body type. Okay? So generally we call the meat type as Muscovy, and we call the egg type as mallard or itik. So let's now proceed with our first particular egg type breed, which is what we call the native or Pateros duck. They are called Pateros duck because since time immemorial, before we were conquered by the Spanish, people that live in Laguna and Rizal has already been seen to rear ducks on their backyards, specifically on the Pateros area in Rizal. That is why the Philippine mallard duck is called pateros, also known as the pateros duck. So this duck is very adapted to our Philippine condition. No? We have the wet season and the dry season. So since they are very well accumulated with good survivability in Philippine condition, they have already developed a very small body type, but with a very good characteristic of producing eggs. They have a very small body type, but then they can produce eggs. And their eggs are generally good eggs, meaning on the average, they can produce a good quality eggs that weighs around 65 to 75 grams, which is very optimum to be considered as a hatching egg. And what is good about this one, no, is that if this animal has a very small body type, meaning they also eat a few grams compared to a large type of ducks. Di ba po? Kapag mas malaki kasi, mas marami siyang kakainin. Pag mas maliit, mas konti ang kakainin. But then again, you will also yield the same number of eggs between the two. Did you get it? So, in the Philippines, they have already developed under Picard what you call the itik pinas. So, they have separated and considered the plumage color, no, to purify the Philippine mallard duck. So, they have purified the black one, or yung itim, itik pinas na itim. Then they have the brown one, or the kayumanggi. And they also have the bulik, or the barred type, which is also similar to the brown plumage of our Philippine mallard duck. Next is that another egg type breed is what we call the khaki Campbell. Usually, most racers cross their Philippine native with khaki Campbell. Why? Because this also has a very good qualities that they wanted to have within their flock. No? Because basically, khaki Campbell produces a lot of eggs. If our Philippine native can produce at most at around 265 eggs in one production year, khaki Campbell can give as many as 300 eggs in 1 year. Okay? So they want to get that characteristic to maximize these two egg type breeds of duck. Khaki Campbell also produces fairly large eggs, which is considered having a characteristic of thick-shelled, as well as weighing around 70 to 75 grams. So mas mabigat ng konti yung itlog ng khaki Campbell compared with our Philippine mallard duck. Next is another egg type breeds. These are called the CV2000, or which is also known as the Cherry Valley 2000 or CV2000. This is actually a foreign strain that was introduced in the Philippines, and their basic characteristic and unique characteristic is that they have all white plumage. Puti po ang kanilang balahibo. They have also a very good start at lay at around 20 weeks of age. And then their average body weight is around 1.5 kilograms. They can lay as much as 285 eggs up to 72 weeks. So meaning they have a longer production life. No, you can extend more than a year and they can still produce good quality eggs. Another egg type breed that is present in the Philippines is what we call the Indian runner. This duck was developed in Western Europe, and it has a characteristic posture. If you will see this one in real life now, they have a very erect posture, a straight neck up to its back, but then this is considered normal. They have a long and narrow body type. They can lay as many as 300 or more eggs over a year of production. This one is also common. This is Chaya. This came from our neighbor country from Taiwan. And the color of their plumage ranges from black to white and brown. It has a small body size, and usually females weigh around 1.3 kilograms. So they are a little bit lighter compared to our local or native breed, which is the Pateros duck. Aside from that, they could lay as much as 207 eggs in 360 days. Although they have a smaller amount of eggs to produce in 1 year, but then again, they lay a very good quality eggs, and they weigh a little lighter compared to other breeds of egg-type ducks. So that's Chaya. Let's now proceed with the second type of ducks. No? These are the meat type. So commonly known as our pato or bibe. With this one, they have a very distinct sexual dimorphism that if you have seen one, you can identify if that specific duck is a male or female because they have these characteristic facial caruncles. So male has more defined facial caruncles compared to the female counterpart. And then males are larger, weighing around 2.5 kilograms on the average, no, compared to its female counterpart, which can go as high as 2 kilograms in weight. They are considered as heavy breeds, and unlike with this with the egg-type ducks, these Muscovy duck are more of their liking is to dwell more on dry lands, okay, not on rivers and water systems. Unlike the Muscovy mallard duck, they are considered as waterfowls. Although sila ay talagang nangangailangan ng mga ponds, no, when we rear them. Okay, they have a very low egg production, but is more sustaining than Pateros duck. They are more self-sustaining, meaning if you don't give them that much feeds, they can still live and they can still produce their eggs. Okay, so this is how a female and male Muscovy duck looks like, no? And their color ranges from white to black and then blue. Blue meaning shiny or nagshimmer, and it appears black with low light, but then it's considered as color blue. Next is our Peking duck. Many duck raisers, especially the small scale one, those are rearing just hundreds of heads. No? They mix Peking duck with the egg type because they wanted to see a combination of a meat type and an egg type as well. So they can utilize both a very good yield in meat and a very good yield in eggs. That's why Peking duck is one of familiar breeds here in the Philippines. So they are good layers as well. And ducklings are ready for market at around 2 to 3 months. So they grow faster, okay, and they gain weight and develop weight faster compared to the other meat-type breeds of ducks. This Peking duck is originally from China, and most of the restaurants, Chinese restaurants that serves duck meat, they use Peking duck as their preferred breed for this one. Okay, next is that we have these breeding systems and management. So, since duck is a very multifaceted business, no, you will always consider of venturing on what are the best practices and the methods in breeding for your flock. Because most of the backyard raisers also produces their own ducklings, right? If they don't have their own hatcheries, they are locally sourcing their ducklings with nearby hatcheries within the area. So with this, I will be discussing some of our breeding systems and management. To start with, we need to select only the best ducks that we have. So we need to choose the best male and the best female. For that, we need to consider several characteristics. It should have a very good body conformation. When we say good body conformation, for egg types, no, egg breed types, you need to have not that too big because you wanted them to be a little bit skinnier so that they can eat lesser and produce a good quality egg. So that's how you define it. But then when it comes to the meat type, it's the opposite. You need to choose those that are really big in size. Okay? Next is the plumage and color pattern. Well, this is very much true with our itik pinas. Among the three colors, the brown, the kayumanggi, and the black, the most superior when it comes to egg production are the black ones. Okay? But then again, when it comes to hatchability, it differs. So if your target is to have many eggs, then choose the black or the itik pinas that are black. Next is the egg production performance. Because this one goes with the hatching capacity. Not all fertilized eggs will hatch. And not all those eggs that hatch will grow as ducklings and then later on develop into growers and layers as well. Okay? And in heritability traits, hatching is very minimal, around 5% heritability when it comes to selecting the most vigorous stocks to be used as your breeding stocks. Select breeders that are around 8 weeks old. Why? Because at that time, you will see clearly the difference between a good one and a bad one. So you will notice the characteristic of that specific duck. No? It's because you will approach these ducks individually. You will not get all the members of the flock as your breeders. So your approach is individual. That is why you need to have a very keen eye in choosing which stock you will consider as your breeders. So the actual performance of ducks is primarily determined by their genetic makeup. The government, specifically Picard, has come up with the project which is called the Itik Pinas. It's because of this one. Duck racers all over the Philippines are having trouble with rearing their own flocks. It's because the potential capacity of their flock diminishes because they have not upgraded the strain itself or the breed itself. That's why they purified it and determined the performance. And what they have discovered is that their performance depends on the plumage and color of their feathers. So that's one result of the research that they have done. So with that, later on, we will have a very good stocks with regards to our itik pinas as once the government release it. So the ratio that we will use is that one drake or one male duck is to 6 to 10 female ducks ratio. Some, if they have wanted to have a very good hatchability rate, so they need to have a very good fertilization rate as well. So they increase the ratio from 1 male to 6 females or 7 females. Okay? If their first priority is to produce hatching eggs. As well as, of course, for those who are engaged in the production of balut. Management of replacement, in all cases, even though you have selected the best stock for your flock, it also comes to a time that you need to cull some of it since they are not having that performance that you expect from your ducks, okay? So you need to select and cull those non-performing ducks. Just like in chicken layers, no, we need to check the body conformation itself.